Welcome, Rae, and thank you for joining us here.
Thank you for asking me.
You've been doing some incredible work with Mercy Ships. So tell us a bit about how you became involved.
Okay. I came involved really through a couple at our local church who were campaigning for Mercy Ships and who'd also been on the ship for quite a few years themselves working. And I felt that as a nurse, I could give something back and decided to go and work on Mercy Ships.
And what has your work with Mercy Ships involved?
I went as a nurse, mainly working with the women with vesico-vaginal fistula through obstructed labour. When they have in pregnancy, the baby can't come out and causes a lot of problems, whereby they have leaking of urine usually through the rest of their life after that. And I wanted to work with them because I am actually a midwife. So obviously that was my interest and my passion for these women that are suffering continuously through problems of pregnancy. So I found out from Mercy Ships when they would be doing a VVF surgery, and that's when I wanted to go, and I applied at that time.
And where did you end up? Which part of the world?
Okay. The ship was in Togo, and I went for 8 weeks as a volunteer.
And as well as those practical skills, what about the spiritual aspect of Mercy Ships ministry there?
Yeah, there was always chance to be able to pray with people. We always prayed in the morning before we started work on duty. We all arrived on the ward and we prayed at each shift, as each shift came on, for the women and the circumstances, and for all of us there. We prayed each morning. There were services on board and visiting speakers that we could go to as well. So there was lots of spiritual help, and yeah, it was good.
And in helping your patients, you must grow quite close to them. How have their stories touched you?
Yeah, amazing really. I think one thing that I must say is I really felt such a heartfelt love for them all, and for all of us who were working there was just a great love that was around for these women in particular. I'm talking about mainly because that's the way I work mostly with. There's such camaraderie and love for them. Although we couldn't always speak the language, we could communicate with them quite well in other ways, and their stories were just amazing of how they'd suffered and the hope they had in coming to Mercy Ships and the cure, that they were hoping to receive. One lady I remember called Akisi, who was a young girl, a teenager, when she was sent from her village to get married, and during the pregnancy she had obviously an obstructed labour which left her leaking of urine, and her husband had thrown her out and she made her way back to her own village. And she heard of Mercy Ships, and through the screening process she felt that she was able to be helped, and so she came down from up north, quite a long journey. They travelled 12 hours on a local bus to come to the ship, and her surgery was successful. And then to see her on the ceremony day, the dress ceremony that we have so every so often for the women that have been cured of, they are made a new dress and jewellery, and they're made up and they look just absolutely great, and they're just so thankful for being free from leakage of urine from all that time. So that was just one story, and there was just many more stories of people that had come from long distances, and they'd been ostracised from their village, and one in particular was a pastor's son who offered to wash this lady's urine for a whole year because of the smell from the urine on her clothes, and he offered to wash her clothes for a whole year. And she only told us this in the dress ceremony, and it was just an amazing story, for this boy to do that, to offer himself for the service of that woman. It was just amazing. And,
very incredible. Yeah. Must inspire you in your work as well.
Yeah, I think it just makes you feel how grateful you are, and such a privilege to look after these women and care for them and love them for that short period of time that I was there, and you just pray that they will go continually to be cured, because it's a bit of a long process. It's not always healed straight away. It's a bit of a long process, and we just pray for them. You often think about them when they're back in their villages. I wonder what's happening to them now and everything else. So it was just amazing to meet such amazing women through all the difficulties that they have to put up with, and just to give them the love and show them God's love through our work. That's all we can do.
That's truly inspirational, Rae. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.